To make the best business decisions, you need to be well informed. You simply can't afford to act on assumptions and gut feelings. That's why in this video, we'll address some of the most common FAQs and general concerns from prospective partners. But before we do that, who am I and why am I qualified to tell you all this information? My name is Iradia and I'm the founder of IDMA, which is a growth consulting and management firm for e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands. At IDMA, we simply help e-commerce brand owners scale their e-commerce brands to multiple 7 figures or 8 figures a year by implementing our growth infrastructure into their businesses and managing it on their behalf. In other words, we partner with brand owners and take care of the marketing and sales department within their business to make it inevitable for them not to achieve profitable, predictable, and sustainable growth with their brands. Alright, so I'm going to be going through a few questions or through a few FAQs that we normally get on free consultation calls, and I know that some of you guys watching this training will have, right? Now, I want to quickly, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can leave your questions in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer. If you're reading this on Google Docs, you can also reach out to us by emailing us or directly using the same email address we used to send you this resource, or send us a direct message on Instagram, right? Either way, we're here to help, right? So number one, the first FAQ is some of the questions that we normally get is, what if I don't have the fulfillment backend to supply the growing demand that the IDMA growth infrastructure will produce for my e-commerce brand? Now, answer. At IDMA, we understand that depending on the stage you're at with your e-commerce brand, you might not be ready to implement our 4 verticals straight away. So in that case, if you're qualified to become a partner, we might only implement the paid acquisition vertical initially. And once you start scaling, we can implement the retention vertical and so on and so forth. One step in front of the other. As I said, when the time is right for you, we will be in a position to add more leverage to your business. So essentially, some people might be worried, wow, if you're going to generate all this demand and all these sales, we might not be able to fulfill on the back end, right? And that's a very logical, concern, right? But the thing is, if you're in a position where you're not able to fulfill that demand, we're not going to come in and start implementing all these things, right? Because the reality is, you're probably a smaller brand and you don't need all those things, right? Eventually, you will be in a position where you want to increase, you want to scale aggressively, and you will need all these other verticals, right? And when the time is right, we will implement them and leverage it, right, on your behalf, right? So you don't have to worry about that, right? Everything's calculated, everything's done, everything's thought about, right? So you don't ever have to worry about that. But when the time's ready, we'll be here to implement the next vertical and the next vertical and so on and so forth, right? So that's not something to be worried about. Cool. That's FAQ. FAQ 2 and FAQ 3, and the reason I'm combining these two is because they go hand in hand, basically related. So let me go through them. So what if the IDMA growth infrastructure doesn't work for me? My product and niche is very unique, right? Which is something that people say a lot, like they feel like their product or their market that they're serving is different to everybody else's market, right? So, and another concern that goes hand in hand with that is, what if you don't have any case studies in my industry? How do I know it would work for my brand? So this is another thing that we get as well. This is another question, or again, concern that we get as well, right? And to answer this question, I'm going to be answering these 2 questions together, as I feel like they're both coming from a similar concern, right? The uncertainty about whether our IDMA growth infrastructure will be effective for a unique product and niche or market, right? Now, answer. Our IDMA growth infrastructure, when implemented and executed correctly, ensures that you can not only achieve 6 figures in monthly revenue within 6 months or less, but potentially even scale to 6 figures weekly earnings. Now, if we do decide to partner with you, it is because we know we can get you the results you are looking for, right? The four verticals within our IDMA growth infrastructure are industry agnostic, meaning the industry doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter about what industry we're in, right? So this means that the 4 verticals within our growth infrastructure are not limited to or specifically tailored for any particular industry. They can be implemented effectively across a wide range of industries, right? So it doesn't just work on a particular industry, for example, like skincare brands or beauty brands. It works across every industry, right? It's a proven methodology that works in the e-commerce space specifically, right? So now, This is because our growth infrastructure was developed based on fundamentals and timeless principles that worked in the past, currently work now, and that will continue to work in the future. Remember, our North Star with our growth infrastructure is LTCM, lifetime contribution margin, which is the metric that the most successful businesses in the world have optimized for and are currently optimizing for and will continue to optimize for. The only thing standing between you and the success you desire isn't us having case studies in your industry or not. It's having access to the leverage we can provide to you with our growth infrastructure, insights, and the expertise we have at IDME, right? So hopefully that answers your question, right? Our growth infrastructure doesn't just work in the skincare industry or the fashion and apparel industry or supplements industry. Like, it works across all these industries, right? It's industry agnostic, right? It's built on the fundamentals of what makes an e-commerce brand work and scale, right? It's been proven. It doesn't just work on one industry. It works across all different industries, right? Because at the end of the day, our North Star is lifetime contribution margin, right? And every business is optimizing for that because that's profit. That's what you're looking. That's profit that you can use to cover your operating expenses and still have left in EBITDA, right? That's what every business is optimizing for, right? So that's that. I know that people have, that is the main concern, because obviously some brand owners feel like, oh, my product is different or my market is different, it won't work. And that's like a very, valid concern, right? But as I said, our growth infrastructure can work across industries, right? But yeah, now that said, how long will it take to get the whole growth infrastructure set up and ready to go? Answer, to get the whole growth infrastructure, it will take about 28 days max, right? To get a whole growth infrastructure implemented. But as I said previously, every brand owner is in a different position and they might not need our whole growth infrastructure straight away. So the implementation of only one of our 4 verticals would only take less than a week, right? So if we're implementing just the paid acquisition vertical into your business, then that's gonna take 7 days, even less than 7 days, to be honest with you, right? Or if we're just implementing the retention vertical, it's gonna take less than 7 days. But the point is, if you're gonna, every business is in a different position. If you're gonna implement all of it like completely, we're gonna do it one by one. It's gonna probably take 28 days roughly, right? It might be less, it might be more, but the point is it's gonna take 28 days, right? If you're gonna implement the whole growth infrastructure. But not every brand owner might need the whole growth infrastructure straight away, right? So it might start with one, and then eventually a second one, and then eventually the third one, and so on and so forth, right? So, but yeah, if we're talking about the whole growth infrastructure, 28 days. If we're talking about one vertical, less than 7 days. So from the time we onboard you to when we actually start doing the work, 7 days, right? Less than 7 days, right? So if you have any questions that weren't covered in this FAQs, please don't hesitate to ask. You can leave your questions in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer them. If you're reading this on Google Docs, you can also reach out to us by emailing us directly using the same email address we used to send you this resource, right? Or send us a direct message on Instagram. We're here to help, right? So that's the FAQ section. And that's that, but there's a few more things I want to show you in this training, so please stay with me, right? We're gonna go through what your options are moving forward now, right? And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for free specific help with your digital marketing efforts, feel free to book a free consultation call with us. To do that, all you need to do is click the first link in the description of this video, choose a date, and fill in a short questionnaire about your business. An IDME growth consultant will get a call with you to give you advice and actionable steps to solve any specific digital marketing problem you're currently facing with your e-commerce brand. Now, full disclosure, at the end of the consultation call, if our growth consultants determine that your brand meets our required standards, then we might consider a partnership with you. At IDME, we do not consider a partnership with every brand owner. In fact, we only partner with brand owners that are in a position to rapidly scale their brands with the help of our growth team. With that being said, book a consultation with us to get free specific help with your digital marketing efforts. Thank you for watching this video. Take care.